It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sports by the Book. Sorry, Ann got me there. And guilty as charged, Ann. Happy to be with you as always. No one's next to me today. Alex has the day off. She'll be back tomorrow with Matt and Everett. Day before baseball season begins. How about this? I mean, we're all caught up in college hoops, the NFL, making waves with rule changes over the last few days at the owners the owners meeting in Orlando, Florida. But baseball, yes, I know it started last week technically. Games in the middle of the night in Seoul, Korea. You end up with a regular slate. The numbers, by the way, are up for the South Point for Thursday's de facto opening day. Yes, I know, not technically opening day, but 28 other teams will open their season this week with some pretty good matchups, actually. Big one in the NL East right away, the Phillies and the Braves. The Rangers and Cubs is interesting. Corbin Burns making his Orioles debut on opening day against the Angels. And a lot of intrigue right out of the gate in Major League Baseball for this season. So that's actually where we're going to start today. Dan Szymborski will join us in about 15 minutes from now. We'll go through his thoughts on the season coming in. Of course, he created Zips, works for Fangraphs now. He'll give us all his thoughts as we go through it. Andy McNeil's back for the first time in a while, talking some hockey as well. That'll be at about 3:30 here on the West Coast. Andy had plays official earlier in the day, but Andy wrote a very interesting article for the website that he works for up north of the border, Canada Sports Betting. He wrote a very interesting article on how teams have been profitable, not so profitable in their respective roles so far this year. So we'll look at that and who's been underachieving, who's been overachieving. It's a very interesting article that we'll get Andy to go through in about a half hour from now. But because baseball begins in 2 days, and I won't be here tomorrow, and Thursday will be mostly the Sweet 16 taking place in Boston and in Los Angeles on Thursday, I'll give you my baseball thoughts. So I know it comes as no shock. The LA Dodgers are your betting favorites to win it all yet again. No shock there. Atlanta comes in right behind them. And at most books, those are only two teams. Most books only have three teams at shorter than 10-1. The Astros are the other one in most books. The Orioles are close to 10-1. Some books do have them single digits right behind us as well. The Yankees are single digits here at the South Point. The Astros back up to 10-1 as the fifth favorite. There you go. Dodgers, look at that. Plus 275 behind us here at the South Point. Look, we do talk about it every once in a while, shop around. If you want the Dodgers, you can find better prices. But I will say, because of that price on the Dodgers, that's as good of a price as there is here in Las Vegas on the Atlanta Braves at 6-1 right now to win the whole thing. Yankees at 8-1, Orioles at 9-1. It's been a long time since we had a preseason number on Baltimore like that. Houston at 10-1, Philadelphia and the defending champion Texas Rangers at 12-1. Anyone shorter than 20-1, Seattle and Toronto, both at 16-1. The defending National League champions are at 25-1. And then, wow. Well, next time I see Chris, I'm going to have to ask him. But seeing the St. Louis Cardinals there at 25-1 is quite the stunner to me. Woo! I know they're the favorites in that division, but wow, that's a little bit surprising to see a number like that. Rays, Cubs, and the Twins wrap up the sub 40-1s on the board right now. I will say this, just eyeballing that, and you can throw that back up actually, because there is one long shot that I would actually consider taking a little bit of a bite of right now. And again, shop around for pricing, and that would be the San Francisco Giants, who had a great end to the offseason. Got Matt Chapman, signed Blake Snell to a 1+1. The Giants, who, again, the big problem with the Giants is their rotation past Logan Webb and Blake Snell. That has a lot of question marks, to put it politely. Logan Webb might be the best pitcher in the National League at this point. But you look at the rest of that rotation, we're not going to see Robbie Ray for a while. Alex Cobb has been, let's just say he's on fumes at this point. You just haven't seen. I don't see it for long term things. Jordan Hicks looks like he's going to start again. It's a lot of question marks in that rotation for San Francisco. Lineup is solid. Pablo Sandoval somehow back in action. How about that? Panda there. But Conforto, Young-Hoo Lee, who was the big acquisition from South Korea this offseason. Jorge Soler was a nice pickup. I think this lineup's got a little bit of pop. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the NL West. The Dodgers had the highest win total before it came off the board. Of course, they're going to win the division. There's $6 to win it. But the National League, as I look at it, there has to be one team. There's only going to be one team out of the NL Central. I know people are buying Cincinnati and that youth. I know people say, the Cardinals can't be that bad. The Cubs had a reasonable offseason. They brought Bellinger back. The Pirates are going to be better. I think the Brewers are going to be terrible. I think the Pirates are probably a year away as well. Sorry, Frank. But it's one max from the Central. You know you're getting Atlanta and Philly out of the East. You're getting the Dodgers out of the West. It leaves two spots. Two spots there in the NL. The teams that I think are most likely to get those spots are San Diego, San Francisco, and the New York Mets are the three. Those are the three that I think. Now, for the Mets, their starting pitching is awful also right now. Kodai Senga will begin the year on the IL. We don't know when he's coming back. I mean, for goodness sake, Jose Quintana at this stage of his career should not be an opening day starter. And he is the best starter in the rotation at the moment for the Mets. You don't know what you're getting out of Luis Severino, Adrian Hauser, Tyler McGill. Just mediocrity at the back end for the Mets because of the injury to Senga. On the Padres end, now, I think it's mixed signals on the San Diego end of things this offseason, where I didn't quite understand what they were doing, where they were selling and then they turned into a little bit of buying. And I'm just curious, when you trade a dude like Juan Soto, who by everyone's account is the best hitter in baseball, and he's only 25 years old, the Yankees got a steal there. I mean, you have a rotation that is good enough. Top three is as good as anyone in the NL. Darvish, Musgrove, and the trade for Dylan Cease is what I was confused by. Michael King, of course, is in the rotation coming over in the Soto deal from New York. You lose Josh Hader, who signs with Houston in the offseason. So on the back end of the bullpen, Robert Suarez, who was great a year ago, is the closer now. Still have a pretty good lineup. It really does feel like I know people say, Miami was in the postseason a year ago. Arizona was in the World Series a year ago. I think the Diamondbacks were a flash in the pan. I think that was an accident what happened a year ago. Now, they did have a reasonable offseason, which I'll give them credit for, because they could have very easily ownership. Okay, good. We made the World Series. We don't need that. We don't need to load up again. Sign Eduardo Rodriguez, good number 3, better than Fott. Who, of course, was there. Paul Sewald is going to miss the beginning of the year with an injury for that team. You get Tucker Barnhart to back up Gabriel Moreno, who was great a year ago. You sign Jock Peterson to solidify the outfield depth. You get Randall Grishik as well. That is a very interesting team. And I just think behind, and again, Merrill Kelly, I think, pitched over his head a year ago. Gallen may be one of the best pitchers in the National League at this point, but I don't buy them. I don't like their bullpen either. I thought they pitched over their heads. And I think the Diamondbacks are number 8 at this point in the National League. They're ahead of Miami, who was in the playoffs by accident a year ago. Milwaukee, I think, heavy regress coming for them. I think they're finishing last in the National League Central this upcoming year. And then it leaves the Mets as the last team in the NL playoff chase, where their lineup, I think, is excellent. Just like I said, their starting pitching's awful. They do get Edwin Diaz back, which is a pretty significant deal. On the American League side of things, the AL is a lot more complex because the American League East has 4 teams that are capable of making the playoffs. Sorry, Boston. The American League Central should not even get a playoff berth at this point. And the AL West, I think, has 3 legitimate teams. You have a legitimate team in the Astros, of course. You have a legitimate team in the defending champion Rangers. And the Mariners, even though they had a bizarro offseason, I think are going to be pretty good again just with the youth. They are the one team that I'm still frustrated with. They just go for it for once, please. One time, go for it with that youthful talent. But when it's all said and done, first off, I do think the Twins will repeat in the AL Central. I do think that is just someone has to win that division. All right, Cleveland's not any good. The Royals are interesting. They had a very good offseason. They're vastly improved, but I just think they have too much of a mountain to climb in order to win the division. Tigers were a bust last year, and the White Sox might be the worst team in the American League other than the A's. Not might be. I think they are the worst team in the American League other than the A's. The win total says that. But if you're looking through win totals to make the playoff odds, division odds, we can go to the American League odds here real quick because it's a lot more condensed than usual. Yankees and Stros both 4-1, O's 9-2, Rangers 6-1, the Mariners and the Jays both at 8-1. That's your top six. Cleveland down at 20-1 with Detroit, Tampa and Minnesota at 15-1, Kansas City at 50-1. Save your money on Boston. The Angels are going to be terrible also, and obviously don't bet those bottom two teams. I mean, it really all signs point back to Baltimore. No, I think that's what it kind of is for me. Where you have all this youthful talent. They were a year ago, where they had the best record in the American League and then flamed out. The only time they were swept in the series all year was in the postseason. I think it comes back to that. The Yankees, even though, I mean, their lineup, very top-heavy. Roster construction, a little bit of a concern. Garrett Cole's injury, a big concern for New York. Where, I mean, look, if you're the Yankees, I don't care that Garrett Cole's out. You got to win the World Series this year. It's a failure if you at least don't get there. And you're probably heading towards everyone getting canned if that's the case. And if you don't make a run in the playoffs, Juan Soto's probably going across town when it's all said and done. The Rangers are interesting as well. Again, you're not going to see DeGrom and Scherzer for a while. That didn't matter in the run to the postseason, run to the World Series a year ago. Wyatt Langford's going to win AL Rookie of the Year going away. I really do think that. Odds on him right now to win the AL Rookie of the Year, plus 225. His teammate, Evan Carter's at plus 310. I think those are really, at this point, with Jackson Holliday starting the year in the minor leagues for Baltimore, that is the only thing worth betting there. NL side, I think I'd actually take a shot on Young Lee, I should say, at 5-1, especially after Yamamoto got lit up in South Korea in that opener. Shoto Aminaga as well would also be worth a little bit of a flyer as well if you want to take a shot there. But as always, with those with the pitchers coming over from Japan, it is a little bit tricky year one, potentially adjusting to a fuller schedule. But I think that would be the only other one I would look at. The throwing philosopher, the nickname for Shota. That's a pretty good nickname, isn't it? Pretty good. I mean, it had the professor forever there in Kyle Hendricks, so why not throw in the throwing philosopher as well in Chicago? But when it's all said and done here, I'll just go with this. The Braves and the Dodgers are so much better than everyone else in the regular season. It's just a matter of getting over the hump for them. Of course, this new format, back-to-back years, they both get the 1 and 2 seeds. They both flame out in the first round. Braves can't beat the Phillies in a short series. Dodgers, didn't matter who the opponents were. San Diego and the Diamondbacks. Familiarity, definitely playing a role, I would say, in both of those matchups. But I thought the Dodgers squarely overachieved a year ago. The roster obviously set up. I know that people are saying there are people out there, Tony's going to get suspended. No, he's not. No, he's not. They got a story and they're sticking to it with everything, like you saw yesterday at that press conference, or really that predetermined statement, I should say, with Ohtani yesterday. But the Phillies are right on the heels of both of those teams. As Philly has proven the last two playoffs, I thought the first year was an aberration. Last year, that was a choke. Once they got 3-2 back to Citizens Bank, they needed to be in and win the World Series for Philly, and they did not do it. I think they did enough this offseason. I think they're still a really good team. I think they're clearly the third best team in the National League. Just the nature of Atlanta in the division with Philly. Philly is going to have to go through this wild card format for a while. You're really good. And I'm sure if Atlanta gets the number one seed, Atlanta 3-1 to win the NL pennant behind us, they are very much going to be nervous to see Philadelphia yet again. It would be a very difficult draw for a third consecutive year. Right now, if you made me pick the 6 playoff teams, I would go Dodgers 1 seed in the NL, Braves 2. I would go, well, actually, the Braves may get bailed out if the Phillies get the 3. Cubs winning NL Central get the 3 seed, Phillies 4. The San Francisco Giants get the 5 seed, have to go cross country, and I will give it to the Mets as the 6 seed in the NL playoffs. And I do think this is the year finally that either the Dodgers or the Braves bust through, and I would lean to Atlanta being the ones busting through so far, getting out of the NL. AL side of things, Astros will get the 1, the Orioles will get the 2, the Twins get the 3, Yankees get the top wild card. They will play the defending World Series champion Texas Rangers in the 4-5 matchup, and then Tampa. You can't doubt them. Can't doubt them. Tampa gets the 6, but it will be a trip to the World Series yet again for the Houston Astros coming out of the American League with the Braves defeating them to win the title that, again, they got it in 2021 with the weakest team they've had in the last decade or so, basically. I expect them to get through and finally bust through Atlanta over Houston for me in the World Series. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we should have Dan Szymborski on the other side. We'll get his thoughts for the Major League season ahead. That's next. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake. Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books, 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book is the show. South Point Studio. I'm Jeff Parles. We'll have to attempt to get Dan Zimborski a different time. Apologies on that. But you still got me. So let's just continue on. I want to swap over real quick to the NBA, where again I don't have any plays today on the league, but I will say, because Danny Burke gave us a good job of catching up while we were all paying attention to the NCAA tournament and such. But the Western Conference standings have all of a sudden become very, very interesting, where The Suns last night ended up getting a season sweep at the hands of the Spurs. Wemby didn't even play. Can't happen. So as we enter today, the Western Conference looks as this. The Nuggets are the 1 seed. Everyone's chasing them. OKC the 2 and Minnesota's the 3. Okay. The Pelicans are the 4. Would host the Clippers in round 1 with home court. Very, very different side. The Kings are in at the 6, tied with Dallas at the moment. Dallas at 7 would play Phoenix with the winner getting in as the 7th seed in the playoffs. Phoenix with a 2.5 game lead over the Lakers right now. Lakers would host the 1-game play-in against either the Rockets or the Warriors. The Rockets have won 9 in a row to go from 8 games under to 1 game over. And they play Golden State a week from Thursday, where this is a race again. There's no gimme Golden State gets in. And even if they get in, they obviously will have themselves a very hard time of going through and and getting into the bracket, because as the 10, you'll have to play 2 road games, and they're both winner take all. Lakers would have to beat the Lakers in crypto, and then they have to beat the loser of whoever ends up. Again, the jumbled mess in the West could result in any sort of combination in that 7-8. Sacramento, Dallas, Phoenix, all of them in play here on that. But I just want to go back to what I was saying the other day, where the Suns are a big disappointment. But if you're the Denver Nuggets and you draw Phoenix in a 1v8, that is super difficult. Super difficult matchup. It's the same sort of thing with what I was saying with the East, where there's a non-zero shot now at this point, where Philadelphia ends up as the 8. That's a brutal matchup for Boston in round 1, where the Celtics are having this great regular season, last night notwithstanding, blowing a 30-point lead to the Hawks, as Atlanta basically wraps up a play-in berth with that win a night ago. Still probably have to go to Chicago, but at least they'll have a shot to make the postseason. But there are potential for some really brutal first-round matchups for the top. And again, the West is brutal all the way down. So, I mean, I'm sure Oklahoma City wouldn't love seeing Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in a round 1 matchup. And I'm sure the Timberwolves would not be thrilled to see the Sacramento Kings in a 3-6, even though the Kings have been the most predictable, inconsistent team in the history of the league, or inconsistent team, I should say. But it really is amazing how quickly and how much on a dime this changes in the National Basketball Association, where teams get looked at as these teams that are not winning teams for all years and years and years. And then you just win one, and now you're the trusted because you won once. Which is what happened with Milwaukee. They haven't been as trustworthy over the last few years since winning their title. But Denver deserves to be trusted. The best player in the league. You have good enough people around him. You have a good coach. You have a huge advantage playing at 52-80. It's hard to see anyone beating Denver, and I know Boston is going to have home court, and I know the Celtics are going to be favored in every game in that series. They're favorites in Denver 2 weeks ago. But there's no reason to give Boston credit until they actually win the big one, and then we can trust them. That's just the nature of the beast in the NBA at this point. Looking at one other thing in the league real quick, where, again, been a heck of a week for gambling-related things. The Jonte Porter story, out of the lineup because the league is investigating irregularities on his prop bets. Based off the article, yeah, I think the evidence is pretty damning at this point. Let's just go with that. It is, yeah, maybe one might be one to overcome based off of the article that Woj and company had over at ESPN, because that is pretty galling to say the very least. And and people are going to say their thoughts. I really don't have much for you on that, in all honesty, other than the fact that if it is true, the allegations, if they are true, we will not see Jonte Porter in an NBA game ever again. And the league needs to come down hard on something like that, when, especially based off the reports, it was brazen, pretty brazen. Very easy to to pick that one up, to say the very least. Even though I'm a little surprised that it happened twice. A little surprised on that, to say the very least. And see how that all plays out over the next few weeks. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, more to come. Some hockey, hoops on the college end of things, and more. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book. A quick little apology on our end. We'll have Andy McNeil later this week. We'll also have Dan Zimborski next week as well. We apologize for the issues on that front today, but we will have them sooner rather than later, we promise. It happens from time to time when you're doing live streaming. It can happen. So we'll have both of them at a later date. Wish Alex was here. But regardless, I just going through some hoops real quick. On the college front, there are two NIT semifinals tonight. First one up in Columbus. Ohio State's a 9-point favorite against the Georgia Bulldogs. I will say this on the Ohio State front. So they, of course, promote Diebler. He's going to be the head coach. Took over for Holtman midstream. Ohio State played significantly better post-Holtman firing. They only lost twice since then. They were 14-11 out of 22-13. They beat Cornell. They beat Virginia Tech in the first two rounds. Motivation has seemingly been fine. They want to play fast. They've played fast in these games. Georgia, a little bit of a surprise that they even were invited to the NIT, but because of the new rules, they get a spot, and they've taken full advantage of it. They beat Xavier. They beat Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, and now get another crack on the road at another Power 5 team. I'll say this. I'm not going to bet this game, but the way the tempo has been for Ohio State these first two games of this tournament, it sure feels like Diebler's attempting to get his style in with the guys who may be coming back next year. And for Ohio State, where it looks like the Buckeyes are going full blown with this and being in a scenario where, look, you're you want to show what you have and go through there. And look, Diebler has shown it. He has shown it. Of course, he was a great player he's a good player at Valpo, and you end up in a scenario here where you got your guy, and he's trying to show what it is. I would lean to the over 150 as well. That would be the only thing I'd look to do in this game. Cincinnati goes to Indiana State. Sycamores, again, proving the committee very much wrong for leaving them out. Them and Seton Hall both in NIT quarterfinal. Seton Hall plays UNLV tomorrow on campus in South Orange at Walsh Gymnasium. This is 4 with ISU against Cincy. I like the Sycamores. I'll lean to the Sycamores here more so than anything. It just makes a whole lot of sense where you're looking at a team that is motivated, a team that knew they deserved to be in the NCAA tournament. Again, I don't want to hear there was too many bid steals. You put Virginia in the tournament. You put Virginia in. All those teams behind Virginia deserved to be there instead of Virginia that day, and that was well proven on the day of. But this feels like an ISU team that is motivated. The one interesting thing with this is Josh Schertz, who is the head coach of Indiana State, is seemingly the favorite, according to reports, to be the head coach at Louisville. And he also seems to be the front runner for SLU as well. So whenever the Indiana State run and the NIT is over, I would not expect Josh Schertz to be there much longer there in Terre Haute, Indiana. All right, let's go to the weekend then. Let's go to the weekend. Or actually, we have lines on these NIT games for tomorrow, right? Yeah, we do. We'll go there real quick. Seton Hall, 4.5 against UNLV. The Rebs, again, win in Princeton, beat Boston College here in town, and then go back to New Jersey for the second time in a week. Seton Hall, again, this was another motivation question. What are the Pirates going to be? Win a close game against St. Joe's, which was honestly the best game in the NIT so far, and then they really put it on North Texas in round 2. Now they get the Rebels, who I think Seton Hall is significantly better than, even though UNLV is playing some good basketball right now. Would only lean to the Pirates at 4.5. Again, Ohio State, Indiana State, Seton Hall at Hinkle Fieldhouse would be a pretty good 3 of the final 4 for the NIT. And then Utah's 6.5 or make it 6 against VCU. I like Utah in that game. Just a nice home court advantage. Weird travel as well for VCU going out to Salt Lake City. That's kind of the reason I like Seton Hall as well against UNLV. 2 trips to the East Coast within a week. Pretty rough for UNLV. So NIT Final 4, Utah, Seton Hall, Indiana State, and Ohio State. Honestly, pretty good. Pretty darn good when it's all said and done. All right, let's go to Thursday in the NCAA tournament, shall we? Crypto.com Arena is the site for the West region. Arizona and Clemson's up first, 2v6. Talked about it yesterday. I'm really stunned at how Clemson has been able to put this together and make it in to the second round of the week, the second weekend of the tournament. They are a different team when they're not playing ACC teams. In the non-con regular season, their only loss was to Memphis. In Memphis by 2 before the wheels came off for the Tigers of Memphis. They won at Alabama. They beat Clemson. Beat TCU by 8 on a neutral. They have a lot. They beat UAB. Beat a bunch of tournament teams in non-conference. And here they are with, yes, not by the seed, but by the spread, an upset over New Mexico. And then they can look, I don't know, they only won by 8. They almost blew the game, but they were the better team for the majority of that Baylor game. They're good. They are looking very, very good right now. And for Arizona, where we've talked about with Arizona the whole time, they are, to me, one of the 3 most talented teams in America. And they are not trustworthy one bit, as we've talked about all year. But they got the 2 wins. They got out of the first weekend, which was important after what happened to them a year ago. They beat Long Beach by 20 after really messing around for a chunk of that first half. They beat Dayton. They let Dayton back in the game, but they still win by 10. Now you get Clemson, who is better. This is the best team they will have faced, according to Ken Palm, in this tournament. I just can't get there laying it with Arizona. But if you made me say, all right, what do you have to bet? If you had to bet this game, I would lay it with the Cats. They're just so much better. And I don't think this formula that Clemson has done against Baylor and New Mexico, I don't know if it works against Arizona. Also, Arizona is much better defensively than both of those teams they played in the first 2 rounds as well. Even though New Mexico ended up being a top 25 defense, Arizona is 10th. Arizona's 9th in offense, 10th in defense. They are elite at both when it's all said and done. By the way, on Ken Palm, so we have 16 left. 14 of the top 17 are in here. Auburn, Baylor, and somehow Michigan State ended up 16th. Those are the only 3 of the top 16 that are not there. And that Auburn-Yale loss really looking even more inexplicable by the day for sure. The other West game, UNC and Alabama. I will have more thoughts on this on Thursday when we come in, Alex and I. North Carolina's 4 against Alabama. Total's 173.5. As we've talked about with Alabama all year, it's very hard, unless if it's a true road game, which this is clearly not, to bet against Alabama or on Alabama. You just don't know what you're getting on a nightly basis. You know that they're probably going to play limited defense, even though their defense is better in this tournament. Again, Grand Canyon played as bad of a game as you could have and still almost won against the Tide in the last round. And North Carolina, I think, is undervalued. The other thing that's weird in this game number-wise, to contradict what I just said, Alabama should not be the same sized underdog that Michigan State was when UNC was playing a de facto home game in Charlotte, and now this game's in Los Angeles. You can't tell me that Michigan State actually is better than Alabama in the power ratings, because they're not. So I'm a little bit perplexed on this, where Alabama, even with their flaws, is better than Michigan State. But I will say, for North Carolina, just kind of floating under the radar still. They're really good. They're number 1 seed for a reason. I think they're better than Purdue. I know Purdue had to get the third number 1, but trustworthy-wise, UNC better. And their defense is very reliable. And Hubert Davis is 8-0 against a number in the NCAA tournament so far in his career. And very much in play to go 9-0 with a win and a cover against Alabama. All right, before we get out of here today, the East region, Illinois and Iowa State first up. Iowa State, this is the late game, but they're first in the rotation number, so I want to get this game first. People are betting the Illini. And I think that's right. I still think the wrong team is favored in this game. Where, yes, this is the classic contrast of style. Number one offense versus number one defense. Illinois is number one in offense on KenPom. Iowa State's number one in defense. They rehopped Houston after whatever that was from Houston on Sunday night, even though they won. But this is the problem with these defense juggernaut teams, where their defense is so much ahead of their offense. All it takes is one bad offensive game, even against a mediocre defensive team, and you lose. Especially when you're playing a team like this that can fill it up. Illinois is the best player in this game as well. I would argue Illinois is the best two players in this game, with Shannon and Domask. To me, those are the two best guys in this game. And I just think that's when it's all said and done, as good as Keyshawn Gilbert and Lipsy has been all year long for Iowa State, I just think that's hard to overcome. And that's the main reason I like the Illini to march on. They haven't been to an Elite Eight in a very long time. Hello, Luther Head and Deron Williams and D. Brown. Been a long way. Been a long time since we've seen them in. But I think they get there in Boston as a short underdog. I still think it's good on that one. And then the earlier game in Boston, UConn taking on San Diego State. It's up to 11, 136. As I mentioned on the show yesterday, it is the biggest difference in travel for a Sweet 16 game ever. 3,000 and change miles for the Aztecs, 85 for UConn. Talked about it when the bracket came out, even before the bracket came out, because we knew what UConn was going to be the one in the East, that they were not going to have to get on a plane the whole time. Busted to Brooklyn, busted to Boston, then the plane to Phoenix. The only way I see San Diego State staying in this game is if they shoot the ball over their heads like they did against Yale. They were great on offense in that game. Now, again, they continued to trend of 5 seeds, smoking 13 seeds in the round of 32. But I just don't see San Diego State averaging 1.25 points per possession against UConn. Just not going to happen. And as good as the Aztec defense is, UConn will break them down. They'll do what they did to them last year, the national title game. And I think San Diego State was better a year ago than they are today. Now, remember a year ago, San Diego State, of course, took the number 1 overall seed out. They beat Alabama in Louisville, took them out en route to making the national title game for the first time in their program's history. But lightning ain't striking twice. This is UConn all the way. And I'm going to be very curious to see where, if it's Arizona and UNC and UConn and Illinois, actually it doesn't matter who's on the bottom. Those are some dynamite Saturday evening games. Where curious to see how big of a favorite UConn would come against the winner of that bottom game of Illinois and Iowa State. I know Arizona would be favored against UNC, and I can tell you right now, I will be on the Tar Heels. Be on UNC in that one. As always, a reminder as well, come to the property here at the South Point. Go to the Rampart if you're up in Summerlin and Vegas. Of course, the property's in Mesquite as well. In person only, -105 juice at the counter or the kiosks, and all the at the Gun Gaming properties in Nevada. Again, Rampart and South Point here in Las Vegas. If you want that -105 juice for straight bets on the sides all the way through the national championship game. All right, we're going to wrap this thing early today. Tomorrow on the show, Matt Neverett, Alex White, they get you going. Get you ready for baseball that starts Thursday. I'm sure Matt will have something on that and a lot more. We'll see you tomorrow. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.